Now, I'm not superstitious, right? I've said that quite a few times. But just in case the football gods are a thing and they're listening, right? Because sometimes you need somebody, something to blame when bad luck strikes your team. Just in case the football gods are listening, let's make a wish list for tonight's game against the Giants.
Let's do it.
First and foremost, and this is like a requirement, you have to say this just so everybody on our Twitter or our YouTube or basically everyone you bump into will say, oh, this is actually my number one wish for tonight for the Panthers is that everybody stays healthy.
Of course.
I mean, let's get that out of the way. If everything else goes off the rails but everybody's healthy, it's still kind of a win.
It's your free bingo space, pretty much.
It 100% is. It's the and you have to say it just to appease the masses. It's like when you asked, the classic question when the lottery gets above like $1 billion, what would you do? You go to one person, they're like, oh, I'd buy an island. You go to one person, be like, I'd try to buy, a percentage of my favorite sports team. You go to the next person, they're like, I would establish a charity to help people that are less fortunate than I am. And it's like, okay, well, yes, that's what we'd all do. Now you've ruined the game.
Paying off your student debts could also fall in that category.
So, yeah, it's a conversation for a whole another day. But yes, staying healthy is the charity, right? It is, of course. We all number one wish. Number two wish, ready for this? I'm points.
Oh yeah,
of any kind. I'll take a field goal. I'll take a kick return.
I'll take a safety at this point after last week.
Safety. I will take a pity point. I will take anything. Right? You don't want to be shut out through both of your first preseason games. It's just bad for morale. So points, but I'll be more specific, okay? This is like asking for a bike, and then, Santa Claus says, oh, okay, well, what kind? Mountain bike. Okay, what kind? You give the brand, right? It's got to get specific. Points. I want a touchdown pass. I want a touchdown pass. I want a touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of talk this week from Frank Reich and the media surrounding the team on how much his offense wants to lean on the tight end for the young quarterback. And I mean, that's every offense, right? Young quarterbacks like safety blankets. They like big targets over the middle. They like, 5 yards downfield, turning around, picking up a cheap 5 yards and a completion. So I want a touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst. I'd like it to be from inside the 10. I just want it to be one of those things that builds trust between a young quarterback and his big pass-catching tight end in Hayden Hurst. Veteran, big pass-catching tight end in Hayden Hurst. So if I have a wish list and I'm being specific, right, I want points. What kind of points? I want a touchdown pass. What's the brand? It's a Hayden Hurst. Here's Frank Reich on what he wants to see out of Bryce Young this week.
Yeah, he will play. Probably similar to last game as far as play time, plus or minus. That's, as you guys know from what I've said, it's kind of just TBD. But, just tell the guys, hey, we all got to get ready to play. Obviously, want to have some success out there, want to have, move the ball, make first down, score some points, just play more consistently as an offensive unit. And then, as an offensive unit, this isn't just Bryce, but obviously be better on third down. And then, get our run game going a little bit, and then, just overall on offense, we just need to have a better outing.
That is one of those situations where he just started talking and eventually he had said everything, right?
Yeah.
You're like, who's your favorite Beatle? Well, I like John because, he was kind of the soul. Paul, I mean, he's a genius. I really like Paul. But I mean, Ringo behind the drums, he's and George, he's funny. It's like you just said all four. Right? Yeah. He started talking about what he wanted to see from Bryce Young in the offense. Well, I want him to pass a little bit better. I want him to catch a little bit, run a little bit better. I'd like for them to block a little bit better.
Took a while, but he eventually got there.
Like more urgency. I'd like better decision making. It's like you just said everything. I'll be more specific with my wish list. I want Matt Corral to settle down. Right? It's Andy Dalton is there as a backup. He's obviously dealing with a little back injury, back tweak at the moment. I I still think there's a role for Matt Corral in the NFL somewhere. He has the physical. He's got a cannon attached to his right shoulder. He just needs to chill a little bit, which is tough because, right, he was hurt for most of his first year, and that's just a lot of watching and anticipating and building and nerves and building. And I want him to chill, right? You know, sometimes that happens like the first time you get hit. Sometimes it happens the first time you throw a pick, you throw a touchdown, whatever it is. You just need that release. I'm wishing that he chills tonight.
Yeah.
I want Chandler Zavala to own the right guard spot. Last week, when they played in their first preseason game against the Jets, the starters had 3 series, okay? Bryce Young played 3 series. First one, 5 and out. The next one, 3 and out. The next one, 3 and out. 11 plays. They had 3 different players go out there at right guard. That's not great, right? I want somebody to own it. Chandler Zavala was not one of those 3. He was still hurt getting back from that pec injury. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for him to play every snap the starters play at right guard and have us not remember that he was out there, right? Because if you remember an offensive lineman's out there, that means he was missing, and they were right. He was missing an assignment, or he was getting beat, and he was giving up sacks. If you don't remember him, that means he did a good job.
Not doing something right.
I want Chandler Zavala at right guard until the starters are pulled, and I want nobody talking about him. And then he can hold it at least until Austin Corbett gets healthy a couple weeks into the season. Here's Frank Reich on how the offensive line responded in practice from a rough outing last week.
I think they've responded well. The intensity, the focus out of practice. I think we all, and I consider myself part of that, right? As coaches, like that's, we're living vicariously through those guys. So I think we're all looking forward to getting out there and putting on a better performance.
How big is it for you to see not just how the line performs against that pressure, but Bryce?
Yeah, it's really important, and this is going to be a really good test for identification and pressure. Where are the hots? When are the hots? Are we going to check anything? If so, what and how and when? Those are, obviously we have a plan, against that. But again, this is a very unique challenge for a preseason game because, because they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're not holding anything back.
Hopefully they respond. More specifically, I want Chandler Zavala to respond, but hopefully they all respond. My last thing on the wish list, this has to do with the defense. I want a few highlights. I don't care what kind. Defense in the NFL is so much about getting your hands on the ball now. The rules are so tailored to the offense that it is going to be tough to stop a team for 3 straight plays from getting a first down. It just is. It's much easier to get your hands on the ball once, right? Make a dynamic play once, and then get off the field. So a turnover, a 3rd and 1, and somebody bursts through the line to get a TFL for 2 yards and force a punt, a unbelievable recovery, pass breakup on 3rd, something highlight worthy. I want a Panthers defender on the SportsCenter top 10. That's my wish list. Stay healthy, number 1, and then the rest, which are in no particular order. A touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst, Matt Corral to settle down, Chandler Zavala to own the right guard spot, and a few highlights from the defense. That's what I'm looking for as my wish list for the Panthers tonight.